If God exists, then why is there so much suffering in this world? If God exists, then how come He doesn't heal patients that have cancer? And if God exists, then how come He doesn't feed starving kids in Africa? We're going to take a look at these questions and more in this video. A lot of times people take a look at the world today and they just see the immense amount of pain and suffering in the world, and they say, surely if there was a God, then He would stop all of these things from happening, like healing people and maybe stopping wars from happening or murderers from happening. And a lot of times when people look at these bad situations, they say, since God doesn't stop these things from happening, then surely there is no God. However, people who take a look at the world in this kind of perspective are really making a grave mistake. And that's because I want you to think about this kind of scenario. I want you to imagine that you have a neighbor and that he's gone away for the weekend. And while he was gone, there's a group of teenagers that break into his house and they have a party at his house. And then after that, he comes back to find that his house is in a big mess and he needs to be cleaning it up. Now, you don't go over there and spend any of your time to go help him out. Does that mean because you don't help him out or you don't intervene in his situation that you don't exist? The answer is, of course not. It has absolutely nothing to do with whether you exist or not just because you choose not to intervene or to give him a hand. Now, on the other hand, it's kind of similar with God. Many times, God doesn't sometimes seem like He's intervening in certain situations, and the problem is that has nothing to do with Him existing or not. There's a completely different reason about why God chooses to do the things that He does, and we're going to be talking about that in this video. So let's take a look at, for example, who it is that's causing all of these problems in the world today. Because it isn't God that is into slave trading, okay? It's people. People are the ones who are responsible for the slave trade around the world. And it isn't God who's responsible for the sex trade around the world, okay? No, it's people. People are the ones that are trading humans for sex. And it isn't God who's selling drugs to our kids on the streets. No, it's people. People are the ones who are responsible for that. So then when we take a look at all of these things, we ask ourselves, why is it that God doesn't put an end to all of these troubles and all of these pain and suffering? And the answer to that is that one day He will. Okay, one day He will, but until that day comes, okay, He's giving people a chance to repent and put their faith in Jesus Christ. Because if He was to come back and to judge the world and to judge you and I, then basically He's going to give everybody justice. Okay, and based on all the wrong things that we do and how we break so many of His commandments and His laws, then obviously the justice that we deserve isn't a very good, judgment that we would want to receive. So this is just one reason why God allows pain and suffering. The topic, of course, as you can imagine, kind of is a complicated one, and I'm going to be creating a few more videos about that. So in the future, if you want to watch those, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can also sign up for my newsletter. And one of those newsletters that you can sign up for is my free Twitter guide, that getting thousands of Twitter followers. There'll be a link to it on my blog and in the YouTube description. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.